Hello, my name is Kat and today we're going to be showing you how to prepare a veggie bed for planting. The first step is to harvest any crops that are still remaining in the bed, and if you've got poultry like chickens or quail, now is a great time to give them supervised access so that they can clean up any of the remaining produce, look for any small pests, and also scratch the ground and manure it to give it a bit more fertiliser for the crops to come. So we could, of course, eat carrot tops and save some of these for the kitchen as well. But I'm definitely going to save these carrot tops because they're full of nutrients and we can use them as mulch on the next crop. So now that the bed is clear of produce, what we're going to do is remove the greens that we've saved for mulch, remove the produce and peel back any irrigation that you might have on the bed. Now that the bed is clear, it's time to add some fertiliser and other amendments. If you've got your own compost or worm castings, now's a great time to add them. If you don't have enough of them though, you can use something like mushroom compost at this stage. For most common vegetables, we want a layer between 1 or 2 inches of compost, and we're going to put that across the entire surface of the bed. So you'll notice I haven't completely cleared all the edges of the veggie bed. And you could if you want to, but what I found is that if you raise an area completely and don't have any plants, then any pests are necessarily going to attack your little seedlings. So it can be helpful to leave some greenery still in the area so that they're not targeting your seedlings. Once you've got all your compost in the bed, you can use a rake to spread it out nice and evenly. At this stage, if there's any other soil amendments you'd like to add, like chook manure, you can sprinkle them on now. Chook manure is a really rich source of nitrogen, and I find that some heavy feeding vegetables really prefer a bit of extra food than what your compost can provide. So I'm going to add some chook manure at about 1 handful per square metre. The next step is we're going to aerate the bed, and what this will do is just break the soil open without turning it over, and that will allow water and also roots to get down nice and deep really easily. Now, small-scale farmers will often use a tool called a broad fork, but in the home garden, you can use a garden fork just like this for the same effect. And you'll notice that I'm standing in the bed, and this is just about the only time that I'll ever step on my garden beds, just before I'm about to aerate them again. Normally we don't want to stand on veggie beds at all because we're compacting the soil down, reducing all the pore spaces that life relies on, and also that water and roots need to get into. So this is the only time to stand in your veggie beds while you're just about to aerate them. Now that you've got the bed aerated, it's time to rake the surface smooth again to prepare for planting. While we're doing the aerating, we're also gently mixing in the compost and the soil amendments to the top few inches. At this stage, we'll lay the irrigation back down again, and now would be a great time to turn on the water and just check that the irrigation is working properly, that there are no leaks and all of the drippers are free. If you don't have drip irrigation, just skip this step. If you're planning to put in small seeds, then it's better to leave the area bare so that the mulch doesn't cover them and block their light. But we'll be planting some seedlings, so I'm going to start mulching half of this bed, starting with some of the weeds and the spent veggies that we pulled off the previous crop. We want to aim for a mulch layer that's about 7 centimetres thick. It does sound really pedantic, but it's about getting a balance right so that the ground is sheltered and the evaporation from the sun is prevented. But when we do get rain, that rain makes it through the mulch to the soil where it's most needed. So we've mulched the bed using some of the scrap weeds and the spent vegetables from the last crop. Now I know some people won't like the look of these, so if you don't like the look of it, you can use a cosmetic layer of mulch on the top if you prefer. And the mulch layer that I'm going to put on top of this today is autumn leaves that we've harvested from the street trees where we live. This is a fantastic free source of mulch that's very sustainable. It doesn't come packaged, doesn't come on a truck. So if you do have a source of autumn leaves near you, make sure you get out and harvest them in the autumn. So at this stage our bed is prepped and ready for seedlings where we've put the mulch, and we've left an area there to plant our seeds. Thanks very much for watching. For more sustainable gardening videos, head to www.mysmartgarden.org.au.